Hi, this is Dan Sullivan. I'd like to welcome you to the Multiplier Mindset Podcast. I always love hearing the transformation stories that come from the UK. It's especially meaningful with our entrepreneur today, and that's Salli Anstey, who comes from West Sussex in the UK. And she actually attended the very first workshop that we ever presented in the UK. It's very, very interesting because we're all across Canada, we're all across the United States, and then our third country is the UK. From area to area, things are different. You know, there's lots of different parts of Canada, there's lots of different parts of the United States, and the UK, the different areas of the UK are very, very unique. They all have their unique characters. But some of the concepts of the strategic coach work wherever you are. And one of the conditions of being an entrepreneur is having adverse times. So, for example, I started strategic coach in 1974. So this is my 45th year. And we've had about 7 downturns during those 45 years for mostly economic reasons, economic downturn, but we also have individuals will remember the SARS scare that happened when a disease from Hong Kong struck a hospital in Toronto, and it was global news about the SARS epidemic in Toronto. And for about 2 quarters, none of our American clients would come to Toronto for the workshops. And it took a real bite. You just get blindsided. And Salli talks about in her story about the big downturn in the UK economy in 2006 and how the business model she had simply wasn't going to survive the downturn. And very, very quickly, and she credits some of this to that one day a quarter when she's in the strategic coach workshop and she's able to write everything down, actually learn new ways of thinking, and then also to discuss it with other entrepreneurs. And she was able to immediately shift the nature of her business to a completely different market. She was able to hold on to 3 of her staff, which have now grown to over a dozen. That's just the business side, but the other thing is that she regained her life. So before, she credits herself with never being home. I think it's very painful, and I can certainly remember experiences of my own from the 1970s when I was a 7-day-a-week, 10 hours a day entrepreneur. I paid a big price of it in terms of my health. I paid a big price of it in terms of my personal relationships. And for me, as a longtime coach in the program and also designer of the concepts and tools of the program, I'm always gratified when entrepreneurs talk about their personal life and how their relationship with their children has improved so much and that they're actually getting a personal life reward from all their financial and their business success. And so it's a great story, and Salli is very complimentary towards Coach, and she calls it her second home. I just want to reflect on that a little bit. What we tried to create at Strategic Coach is an environment where maybe for the first time in your life, you actually feel like a normal person, because entrepreneurs are often outliers. They don't march to the general drummer in life. They kind of go their own way, sometimes for negative reasons and sometimes for opportunistic reasons, but they don't follow the normal path of getting the technical education you need and going into the marketplace and working for a corporation and putting in your 30 or 40 years and then retiring. That's not what entrepreneurs do. And I think Salli really reflects the amount of courage that it takes to actually be an entrepreneur, where you're face to face with the marketplace, and the decision on whether you're going to have a financial future really depends upon your ability to get outside of yourself, get over in the head of actual clients and customers, and see the world from the standpoint of what your check writers, the people who are actually paying you, really want to achieve. And really what we are is, if we're great entrepreneurs, we're great at selling other people on their own future. So Salli's story is just very heartwarming to me, and I think almost every other client and strategic coach, both active and then our individuals who are taking a sabbatical, they'll get an enormous benefit from listening to her account of the way she's transformed her life in the last 13 years.
Okay, well, I'm Salli, and I've been part of Strategic Coach for 13 years, and I run a company that arranges mortgages and finance for people. It feels like you have a second family. It does feel like you've got a whole set of people that understand where you've been, they know you, they know your journey over the last 13 years, and they've been there through the highs and the lows of it, really. So, yeah, it is like having another family. Just shortly after I joined Coach, we had the recession here in the UK, and I soon realised that my business model was completely wrong. So what happened was I stripped everything back down again, made redundancies, and basically started again. So we went back down to having 3 or 4 members of staff, and it's now built back up again to 14 of us. So I think from that point of view, it's now the right team and it's the right business model. And you always seem to discuss the things at a workshop that you need to discuss. I have no idea what's on the agenda every quarter, but whenever I come, I'm just like, yeah, that's what I needed to be doing today.
Ever since we've had the Strategic Coach Workshop, we've done research on what I would say the strengths and weaknesses of the program. And there's a very common response that we get for individuals who choose to stay with Strategic Coach, in some cases now going on 3 decades that individuals have been in the program. They all say that in the first year or second year, maybe even part of the third year, they're in the program for the financial goals that they had in mind when they were attracted to the program. And along with that is developing a self-managing company and also having better balance in their life. But after the third year of the program, the greatest value that people see is actually the relationships that they've actually formed with the other entrepreneurs in their community, the community of the Strategic Coach, so their workshop community, and then their relationship with Strategic Coach itself. And I would say that all meaning in life, if you want to find out where the center of all meaning in life, it's in the area of relationship, both on the personal side of your life and the business side of your life. And so much of business today has become very depersonalized. It's almost treating human beings as though they're dispensable parts, and that relationship should not be brought into the factor of your business ambitions and your business achievement. And yet all the really great businesses that I've ever seen on the planet, they put relationship right at the center. And what they try to do is to depersonalize all aspects of their interaction with their clients. In other words, everything is personal, and that everything that's backstage that doesn't require personal contact, that can be automated through technology. One of the great model organizations that I have followed for 30 years has been the Four Seasons Hotel, and they have a great strategy, and they say systematize everything that's predictable so that you can humanize everything that's exceptional. And what they mean by that, where things can be predicted and they should just be systematically followed through, then you have work procedures and you have increasing amounts of automation. But wherever there's an opportunity, and it could be a positive opportunity or a negative opportunity, you give the full force of human contact to make that situation exceptional. If a bad thing happened, you transform it into a great thing. And if a good thing happened, you strive to make it even better. And as the world becomes more technologized, in other words, there's all sorts of predictable, recurring, automatic activity that will make up every business in the future, then we have to be on the lookout for technology that will handle that faster, easier, cheaper, and gives you a bigger result. But anytime you cross the line where human beings are involved, you want to free up all your human intelligence and all of your human skill to deal with people exceptionally. And that's our rule for Strategic Coach, is that the greatest progress that we're making as an organization is actually to increase the amount of personal care and attention that we can give to every client who comes in the program every 90 days for as long as they're in the program. An interesting thing is that if you're in Strategic Coach for 1 year, as far as we're concerned, you're in the program forever. So if for some reason you 1 year you're not in the program, we're going to treat you as if you are. So that's our formula for answering Salli's goal of actually having Strategic Coach as a central part of her life as far as she wants to go in the future. That Strategic Coach will be a crucial part of her life. And I just want you to know the formula that we use is that we want to increase the amount of personal attention that we give to everybody's unique goals. To get a real handle on the way that you're going to actually construct the more human quality and environment of your business in the future, go to whonothow.coach.